I've lost a lot of weight in the last year. And I'm still a big girl. I will always be a big girl. I'm not trying to get small. But dating is just as hard. And I remember when I was literally crying about this like horrible situationship, when I was literally 80 pounds heavier with one of my girlfriends who is really attractive now in a happy relationship. And she just kind of told me, she was like, it's hard for everyone. It has nothing to do with your weight. And I couldn't believe her.
All right, so I really see what's going on here. So look, first and foremost, I will say congrats on the weight loss. Losing 80 pounds is not something easy to do by any stretch of the imagination. But I will say this, dating can be difficult if you are bigger. That doesn't devalue you as a human being. That's just an understanding that there is a preference. You know, pretty privilege is a real thing. Unfortunately, in this world, you are treated differently based off of how you look. And sure, you can have an attractive face, but if you have a larger body, there are going to be plenty of people that don't want to eat the cost of that, especially if these people are in the gym or they're tracking their calories and they're really taking good care of themselves. They don't necessarily want to be with someone that doesn't share a similar lifestyle, because if they are with somebody like that, then they are likely to falter on their own goals.
Every single issue I'd ever had up till that point, I believed was because of how big I was. And then to kind of realize that that's not the case at every single step makes you wonder, what is the issue? Like, what is the case? And I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't think anyone is. And so there's comfort in that for women. But I just want to know, I just want to let you know it's not a weight thing. I think it's a them thing.
You see, that's really the type of mentality where I believe a lot of these people go wrong, because sometimes it is a weight thing. You could have a great personality, someone that's extremely charismatic, someone fun to be around, but ultimately there are certain things that will play a factor in your loneliness. A lot of guys, they do care about weight. Remember, we are visual creatures at the end of the day. The same things that attract you to us are not the same things that attract us to you, and vice versa, right? Now, not to say that your weight is the only factor, but sometimes it is. You can get someone's attention initially if you're awesome, right? But let's not pretend that weight is not a real thing. It's not always a them thing. If you're getting the same results constantly, if you're getting these people rejecting you all the time, there is a common denominator here, right? Let's stop pretending that you never have any agency in the outcome of your life, because that's not really the case. And I don't really like that mentality that, not this lady specifically, but that a lot of people have around this topic. Yes, weight does matter, not just because you're overweight, but because you're also unhealthy. And what if you get with somebody long term and then you start getting all these chronic illnesses, all these chronic pains, because you can't be bothered to take care of yourself. When you're young, it's easy to say, hey, I want to eat whatever I want, health at any size. Sure, yeah, you could pretend that's a real thing, but when you get older, the hands of death start crawling on you slowly. You start to realize that you are on 10 different pain medications because your knees are buckling on you and you're having trouble breathing when you're going up the stairs. It's okay when you're younger, but it will inevitably impact you as you get older.
And we just have to move in our own happiness. Make something. I remember saying this to somebody, that I was so sad I was single. And she said, girl, write a book. So I'm going to go do that.
I really do find that funny, because there are people that take their pain and always make something positive out of it. There's a lot of jokes with men in particular where as soon as they go through a breakup, right, all of a sudden they get in the gym and they get in the best shape of their life. And they're like, hey, man, what's your secret? And we're always like, well, it's heartbreak, right? Because, yeah, of course it's heartbreak. These are the things that push us into better versions of ourselves ultimately. So if this young lady ends up writing a book because of this particular topic, then hey, that's awesome, right? But look, if I could be serious for a moment, you might not like it. This might be a hot take, and this is going to sound unfair to some people, but your weight will be a deterrent in your love life. There are going to be people that will use you strictly as recreational use and not value you as a proper human being. And not because you're not worth it, not because you don't have intrinsic value as a person, but because they long term are not attracted to you. That's really the reality of life. This is how men are. There are plenty of men that like bigger women. I've been with bigger women in the past. I don't really have an issue with it. I'm not against the idea of it, but I started taking better care of myself. I started counting my calories. I started going to the gym more frequently and drinking less. And as a result, I've lost weight and I'm getting healthier. And that's always a goal for me. I've always been about fitness. So how do I look dealing with somebody that is completely like diametrically opposed to who I am as a person? Our ideologies, our value systems are just different at that point. So yes, you're going to run into people like that. Unfortunately, you might not like it. You might think it's unfair, but it's the truth and it's reality, and it will inevitably catch up to you as you get older. So if you want to stay bigger, hey, that's okay. I also don't really find an issue with people wanting to stay bigger. That's fine. But don't come at people that are really about their health and trying to take care of themselves and make them seem like they are bad people for wanting to be healthy and being with a healthy partner.